having a little chatter, but yeah, we didn't even know that our neighbors had chickens forever. I kind of find them sweet.
Yeah, but you sleep in till 9. I'm up early.
To Todd's credit, he does get up with the kids every day, which makes him a saint. But oh, hi, it's the Todd and Erin Daily Stream. How are you? Happy Monday.
Eggs are good because you give them stuff and they give you eggs.
It's been working really good so far. And then our next door neighbors bake and make jam. And we have a garden, so far between the three of them, we're like the collective.
Bring on the apocalypse. We got it set.
Seriously, all of our neighbors, and we've talked about this, like, this is ready to go.
We're going to have scrambled eggs and jam.
Now, it was funny, I was running last night and they had, Rice-Eccles was going, you know, that massive, anyone who's been by Rice-Eccles, by the way, and seen the new screen.
It's new and improved.
The sucker is gigantic. You can see it all across the valley. I mean, it casts a shadow in our bedroom because we live up on the hill by the stadium.
It faces north, right? And so we're north of the stadium. And I don't know what they did. And I don't know how they made this. This is like the envy of every football fan in the world.
Oh, it's got to be.
When I say big screen, it casts, we're about a mile away, and it casts a shadow with colors on the wall inside our house.
I always feel vaguely guilty because I feel like we should be paying for the concert because we more or less hear everything for free, and last night was Love Loud. And that was wonderful. That makes me really happy.
Explain what Love Loud is.
Love Loud Festival. Dan Reynolds is Utah. He's the front man for Imagine Dragons, and he actually started this last year because he was really worried about, I mean, just the heartbreaking level of LGBT youth that commit suicide. The suicide rate here is horrifying anyway, but for our LGBT youth, it's so much worse.
Right.
And he said that's why we're here. We're going to raise $1 million to give back to the people who are boots on the ground trying to help these kids.
Right.
And there were some really, really sweet celebrities there. One guy who was amazing, he said, today I'm speaking about being brave. I think it takes an incredible amount of bravery in this world to live authentically and be out about who you are. I also think it takes a lot of courage as a parent for an LGBTQ youth to, in society and religion, to say, I accept you and I love you. They're not flawed, they're not broken, he said. They're brilliant.
Like 50,000 people showed up. I know the stadium only fits like a certain amount, but the field was covered.
Insane. Well, the Church of Jesus Christ released a statement, which I thought was gorgeous. They said, we appreciate the sincere efforts of many who are trying to prevent suicide, bullying, and homelessness amongst vulnerable groups, including LGBTQ youth. And we're grateful to find the work to find the solutions. So I don't know, it was just such a cool night, and it was like one of those rare nights where everybody's into it and everybody gets the message, and there's like love, and I don't know, it's really inspiring.
And we had the message inside the wall of our living room.
We might actually have to make a donation because really we got the whole freaking concert. It was lovely, but yeah, I feel kind of guilty now.
I want to tell a story. Erin and I went out to dinner. Our cards that we use, you know, debit cards, had been lost, and so we canceled both of them. And then her and I, we actually had a date, and we got someone to come. We told them our kids were normal, and they came, and it was great. And we had some cash with us, and we took off. And well, we got a little carried away with dessert and all that stuff, and the bill came. And Erin, this is so funny. Erin was like, oh crap, we don't have enough for a tip.
Not for a good tip.
She offered to leave me there as a hostage. Well, she went home and got some more cash. But today, that's what we're talking about, is the people. What is it with people who don't tip?
You know, we put this up on Facebook, and I have not seen an explosion like this for God knows how long. Because let's be honest, any one of us who were servers, and I was in high school and college, and so were you, it's like you will tip big time because you know what it's like to have to depend on that money. And one thing that people forget, and there was a great article about it, but they didn't even bring this up, the IRS charges you, they tax you for what they think you should have made in tips.
There's a set deal. Now, your hourly payment, did you mention your hourly payment?
Is always a minimum wage.
It's like $2.13. What? Oh, $2.13, that's right.
But, I mean, this is what's so amazing. This girl, I want to find her and set her on fire. She was one of the people they interviewed, and she goes, you know, I know that I should tip, but I don't really care. She said, I believe that everybody else tips enough to make up for it. They're making $5 off of me, and the next person will get like 25 or 30, and it's all going into their pocket. So what's the difference? I'd rather spend that money on other things.
It's supposed to go into their pocket.
And then she says her friends all say that I should tip, but I just don't care. I'm not going to be rude and say I don't care, but you know, I really don't. It's not my concern. I don't know you. You chose that profession.
We tip on purpose.
I'm actually getting a twitch in my eyelid.
20% is what we do.
At least.
And if the service is great, we appreciate that even more. If the service is crappy, and that would take a lot to be crappy.
You would actually have
for
to
us.
spit in our food.
You would have to, be like, there's your potatoes. And then we would be like, well, 10% or something, just because that person might be having a mental issue.
Well, but that's the thing that people always forget. If you don't tip, they've actually lost money trying to give you a nice dining experience. And there were so many, and I know that you're up for the millennials. I know you support them.
I do.
But the recent report from creditcards.com says the millennials are indeed the worst generation of tippers.
That can't be true.
40% surveyed admitted to not tipping restaurant servers at all.
That can't be true.
At all. There was a big one, like for instance on Reddit, they had this huge thread that went through it, and they went back to the same thing. If you want more money, get a better job.
Oh my gosh. The millennials live in people's basements, and I say that, and I support you.
Well, I'm all for the belief that no, you really shouldn't tip. If you go to Europe, Australia, places like that.
I was at the airport.
But this is what I mean. They don't tip. They pay the server a fair living wage.
I went to, we were in an airport, and I went to get a beverage.
That was New Orleans, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there was a beverage. I went to the bar, and I sat next to a guy from Australia. And my drink came, and he was drinking a beer. My drink came, and the guy goes, it's $5. And I threw him $5, and I put down 2 more. And the Australian looked at me like,
what's wrong with you?
I was Fort Knox, and I'm just throwing money away. And I said, what's the issue? And he said, we do not tip in Australia. It is not the custom. The people get a wage.
A fair living wage, yeah.
Right, and I was just amazed. Now, on the other hand, we know servers who work at very fancy places, and they deliver the best service, and they cork the wine, and they show the label, and they have knowledge.
Would you like to have a little sip? Would you like to
they
smell
talk,
the Coke?
and the food's expensive, and so they go through the whole thing. Now, these servers can make
well, yeah, you can make bank if you
like $400 a night, but they have worked through the Denny's. They've worked through.
Well, and not only that, they also have to pay.
They've worked through.
They have to tip their helpers, the people who
they take
clear
care
all
of
the
their
tables. They have to
bartender,
tip the hostess. They have to tip the bartender and the bar back.
Right.
And there are some scumbags, which, by the way, this is illegal. If you're in one of these places, it's illegal.
I know
some of the owners will demand a cut, which I'm like, wait, you're not even paying me enough to live on, and you actually want a cut of my tips. So it's like You've got to be kidding.
One of the places I worked, Lexington, Massachusetts, and I worked at a place that was called the Rusty Scupper. And I don't know if you know what a Rusty Scupper
I
is.
totally thought that was a joke. That was a real restaurant?
It's the place
I thought you made it up.
On a ship, it's the place you poop, and it's a chute that goes off into the ocean.
They named
the
restaurant?
All the clientele were 50 and older. And the Scrod special was...
Is that an actual fish?
This is a while back.
You're lying to me.
Was $2.95.
Is scrod
no,
I need to know, is scrod an actual fish?
Yeah.
There's actually a fish named scrod.
Well, not anymore. We killed and ate them. But the average dinner or lunch on the special was $2.95. So my tip would be like 75 cents.
Here's a quarter, son.
And that's if I shook it a little, and...
Did you have tricks? Like, I totally had tricks.
No, you can't upsell with people who are 60 years old.
Well, no, not like that so much, but like I could have a table of like 25 people and I could remember everybody's drink order.
Oh, screw that.
And little things like that. Or you touch carefully on the shoulder.
Hey, that is unwanted touching, lady. Well, later it's okay, but not now.
So you didn't... Yeah, you did, because like when you were... when you were a parking lot attendant and you were running back and forth giving people... You would go, thank you, pretty lady. And you would get more tips.
What? That sounds sexist to you, doesn't it?
No, actually, I'm always happy if someone calls me pretty. If they're
what I would do
like
is
that, no.
I would put cones out, and when the ladies pulled in, I said, I have a spot for you right up front.
You suck up.
And there's a buck coming your way. Anyway, we went through this experience last night. Netflix is now cutting 90 shows off and adding new ones, which is what they do. They
New
revolve.
stuff for August, yeah.
So the problem we have is last night we got the kids in bed, and Erin said, "Hey, why don't we watch some Netflix?" And I said, "Hey, that would be great."
I'll go take a bath. You pick something you like, and
So 40 minutes later, she comes out. She goes, "What are we watching?" I go, "I have no friggin' idea."
you were still going. Come on, there's so many choices. It's not even like you can build a queue. They go, oh, just go to your queue. I'm like, no, I can't even build one of those because it's overwhelming. So we always pick some really awful movie. Or like old school, like from the 80s, like we saw Buckaroo Banzai and his adventures in the
Great
fifth
show.
dimension. That's
Great
so
show.
cool. What's the watermelon doing there?
That's my pickup line for Erin.
It worked too.
But and it says, because you watch this, you'll like this. No, I won't.
No, that was a random pick because I was tired. But
So
what was last night?
finally, we just went, oh, screw it, just kink, and we pushed play. And it was Jurassic World, right?
Jeff Goldblum, but yeah.
Bloom.
And Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking it was going to be the other one with like Chris Pratt, right? Where
That's
he's
true,
like,
too.
he's talking to the dinosaurs. No, this was the other one where it's
Julianne
like,
Moore.
why the hell would you go back to that island, even though it was a different island, which we didn't remember.
So they had Jeff Goldblum, and then they had Julianne as his
I
girlfriend.
I love her, by the
And
way.
she's up there, she's taking pictures. She goes, and she touches the snout of a baby dinosaur. I'm like, you can't be a scientist if you just did that.
No, she yells at everybody else for, don't get contact with it. Are we boring you?
And then, okay, anyway, but the whole point is it was really, even though
There's too
Steven
much.
Spielberg did it, it
There's
was
too
like
much.
so unrealistic that we're like, why would you have
We
done those things?
have like a hour and 20-minute window in our lives.
Pretty much.
And for people who binge watch, God love you.
That must be nice.
I can't even
Well,
imagine.
we binge watched Santa Clarita Diet, and that came back.
Excuse me, that's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
That's not like Orange is the New Black. No, that years and years of stuff.
There are some cool ones coming in August. Chernobyl Diaries, which I know you've been wanting to see this. This is
What?
incredible. It's this woman.
What?
And she got permission. She on a motorcycle, and she filmed her own documentary.
I will
but
now
she
take
went-
over the conversation. And so the deal is this woman, she hung stickers on her, tags on her that turned on when she got too much radiation stuff. She went on her bike, and then she started taking pictures. And what she took pictures of, you can just relax for a while.
I'll just check my
What
emails.
she takes pictures of is the towns that have been deserted because of Chernobyl. And one of the things she takes pictures of is all these fire trucks perfectly in a row that the people who parked them didn't realize how contaminated they were. And the most interesting thing, you have to watch this, the most interesting thing are the old couples who have moved back because they don't care. They eat the fish, they fight off the wolves that have come
that
back.
was their home.
That was their home, and they'd much rather die there than anywhere else.
Okay, so now that you told them the whole Chernobyl Diaries, there's no reason to see it. Clerks, if you like Kevin Smith, that one's coming back. That's kind of cool. P.S. I Love You, Gerard Butler.
I like
We
that.
love that one.
You know why?
We'll totally see that one.
Because I'm a sensitive guy.
I Am a Killer.
I'm, what?
That one was eerie. It's, if I'm correct, this is one where they actually follow along with a case and they
Yeah, good luck.
explain the logic of why someone did that.
Good
Which
luck,
to me,
Ian.
I'm still like,
Good luck, you're never going to see it.
in any case, so good luck on anything new that popped up, and no, you'll never catch
the
it anyway.
Chernobyl thing, watch it.
I really do want to see Chernobyl Diaries, though.
Freaking amazing.
New Millennium Financial. Why don't you explain it?
I will tell you about this. What they do is they're the people that you take all your crumbles to. And you have a crumb here and a crumb there. Now, they might not be so little crummy. They might be bigger pieces of cake. Here we go.
Cake, I'm paying attention.
And now they're saying, well, let's make a 3-layer cake. Let's get your retirement. Watch this happen. Your IRA, your 401k, maybe the equity in your house. That's a 4-layer cake. And they're going to figure out how to put it all together to make your life better.
Do they frost it with annuities? Pink ones?
If
With sprinkles?
you want them to.
That'd be good.
Actually, the sprinkles are up to you.
This is true.
So anyway, if you want more information, all you have to do is go to financial planning.
utahsfinancialplanner.com. Go to utahsfinancialplanner.com. And by the way, they have a Social Security optimization report that they can run for you for free, so it gives you a better idea of what you're going to do with this much money that you're getting back from the government.
If you want a place that you can go beat the crap out of and no one gets you in trouble, you are never in trouble, and you walk into a room with a baseball bat, we have that story coming up.
The Todd and Erin Daily Stream is brought to you by Magic Wash, home of the ultra-durable ceramic car wash to keep your car looking clean and pretty for longer. 2 locations in Layton and South Ogden. And also by New Millennium. The Todd and Erin Daily Stream is brought to you by Magic Wash, home of the ultra-durable ceramic car wash to keep your car looking clean and pretty for longer. 2 locations in Layton and South Ogden. And also by New Millennium Group, financial advisors to help you grow into financial security. Go to utahsfinancialplanner.com for a free Social Security optimization report. One of my favorite things in the world is hanging out with Dr. Julie Hanks. Now, she's one of my favorite girls because I feel like every time we hang out together, we solve all the problems of the planet. So we met for lunch at Fat Jack's Burger Emporium downtown, and here's what happened. Okay, I can't imagine the pressure of trying to put together something that talks about being assertive, because it is always such a fine line with women. And not just what we think is a fine line, but the rest of society. You're pushy if you stand up for yourself, or you're demanding, or I mean, so what made this one come to mind for you for a book?
Well, the very thing you're talking about. There's this miscommunication or misunderstanding about assertiveness, that it's like pushy, but it's not. It's just taking a stand for yourself and for other people. And you can do it in a kind way. In fact, I talk about one of the steps is self-expansion. It's like assertiveness actually helps you expand yourself. It helps other people know you. It helps you to be able to invite other people's opinions, right? If I'm comfortable with myself, then I can say, you know, this is what's going on for me, Erin. What's happening for you? And I can expand my circle instead of stay small.
You know, that's a really interesting dynamic, because it's completely opposite from what people picture of, I will force myself upon all of you and you will become smaller.
Right, and the biggest fear that women have in being assertive is that it's going to hurt my relationships. And in the book I talk about how the exact opposite is true. It's the only way, it's the only path to true intimacy. If you say, this is what I think, feel, want, and need, and you're able to articulate that clearly, that's how you're known.
You know, I think I'm assertive, and that still basically terrifies me. So that's probably a really bad sign for me.
But what's terrifying about it?
No, I think saying anything about what you feel, because it's like opening you up for that moment. They're like, okay, this is how I feel, and they go, that's wrong. Then you're like, it is? Because I was being really open there. But
right. It's vulnerable is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? When you share what's going on, it's vulnerable. But again, that's what relationships are, is sharing that vulnerability. And you're not going to share how you feel with, like, maybe your boss or something. I mean, you might share more what you think. Right? I think this deadline is unreasonable, and I need 2 more weeks. Right? So you're going to share more of your feelings in your intimate relationships, because people have to earn that right to your vulnerability.
That's a good point. Do you see assertiveness paying? I mean, because you've talked to literally millions of women through your practice and through
hundreds, probably not millions.
I know, but okay, maybe you've reached millions. Okay. I mean, especially with your career. But I mean, what is some of the common themes that keep coming back from them about their frustration about not being heard or not being felt like they're valued?
The main frustration is that fear that I mentioned. I don't want people to think bad of me. I don't want people to think I'm pushy. I don't want people to think I'm mean. Those are some of the...
And there's such negative connotations attached to it, that you're right. It's like, if I plunge in, do I look like an awful person now?
But assertiveness is just being able to state what you think, feel, want, and need, and then making room for someone else to have a different opinion. So it's a way that you distinguish, like, I'm different from you. This is me, and you can be you. And it allows for that relationship.
So what are some of the steps, like if you had to count like 3 things that would really kind of get you started on the road where you felt like, okay, I'm doing this now. What do you offer?
Well, in the book I go through 5, and I can go through them quickly if you want. Self-reflection. That's the understanding of your past and how that impacts your current communication. Okay. The second one is what is the second one? Self-reflection, self-awareness. And that's what's going on right now. So what you think, feel, want, and need right now.
You know, that's a big one right there, because I mean, for a lot of people, you tend to just react versus going, what am I actually experiencing right now?
Right, we don't even know what we need to assert. So that's why I kind of back up before you actually say anything. So self-reflection, self-awareness, then self-soothing. That's the ability to calm yourself,
That's a big one.
or to connect with your emotions enough to be effective in your communication. So self-soothing. The fourth one is self-expression. That's actually saying the words or doing the assertive behavior. So that's the fourth step.
That's so
You don't
exciting.
even say anything until the fourth step. And then the fifth is, I mentioned before, is self-expansion. And that's the willingness to say, okay, so now here's where I am, where are you?
You know, I really like that energy, though, basically, of just self-expansion. Instead of, I will force my opinions down your throat and you will see how wrong you are. It's more like, let's open this up and let's you know, converse together. Let's reach some kind of an accord or understanding.
I call it holding up the lantern. So I imagine standing with the feet shoulder width apart, holding up a light, and that the light illuminates the situation. It illuminates it for the other person and for you. And that's what assertiveness is. It's just holding up a light and saying, this is what's going on for me. What's it like for you? What do you need?
And when did you launch this book? When did you write it?
It's been almost 2 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are some of the responses you hear back? Because that's always my favorite part, when someone actually puts it into action. You're like, how did it go? How did it go?
I love it. I love getting those emails and Facebook messages and things like that. A lot of people say it's a lot more in depth than I thought, because it's not just say this, do this, right? It goes into like your history and kind of the patterns that you're bringing into the relationship. So I think people are surprised by that, but really grateful.
That's so cool. Because you're right, you have to have an understanding of why you're acting the way you are before you can actually change the function of what you're doing.
Because we all have patterns that we learn in our families, ways that we communicate, things, beliefs that we have about ourselves and about others. And so when you have a handle on that and you know what those are, then you can work with it instead of having it work against you.
I love that. Where can they get the book?
Amazon.
Always easy.
Yeah, Amazon. If you go to drjuliehanks.com, you can download a free chapter too.
Dr. Julie Hanks. This is so exciting. You're a PhD now.
Yep.
You got all the cool stuff.
I don't know about that, but I'm having a good time.
I love that. Smiling. The Todd and Erin Daily Stream is brought to you by PC Laptops, with desktops and laptops starting as low as $7.99 with a lifetime parts and service warranty. They fix phones too. Go to PCLaptops.com. And by Brio Technologies. They rent, sell, and install audiovisual components, including professional sound, lighting, video, and intercom systems, components, projectors, interactive whiteboards, and classroom audio systems. Just go to BrioAudiovisual.com. Welcome back. Hello. This is pretty cool. Tell me something good. Are you waiting for it?
I'm waiting to hear more about PC laptops and the fact that they have laptops and desktops for starting at $7.99.
Because Tell Me Something Good is brought to you by PC Laptops.
Now, whether you're a person who wants to go crazy with a computer or you just want one to keep in touch with your kids or whatever it might be, this is the place for you to go. They will take care of you.
I've gotten 3 calls from mothers who are sending kids off to high school and college again. They're like, what was the name of the really inexpensive laptop again? I'm like, PC Laptops, 10 locations. Go to PCLaptops.com.
Lifetime warranty on parts and labor.
Lifetime.
There you go. Tell me something good.
Alrighty. The reason these mean so much to me is because there's so many awful stories about police officers. And some of them are true, which make them even worse to me. But then you get the great stories, and you're like, you have got to scream them from the mountaintops, because the good stuff always gets overlooked, it seems.
If I was a good cop, the bad cops would make me so ticked off.
I'm sure they do.
But this is a good story.
Because you try so hard. Officer Tony Carlson. Now, this is really
you say
sweet.
his name like Tony.
I don't know, because I get
Tony Carlson.
It's like my tender voice.
It is.
Anyway, but he was at Tallahassee, Florida, and I guess it was a bystander that was just kind of, covering it on his phone, and this homeless gentleman, crazy beard and hair, walked up to him and he goes, "Do you know how to fix clippers?" And Officer Carlson's like, "What's going on?" Well, here's the killer. He goes, As a matter of fact, I can fix those clippers, and I have some screws in my squad car.
Screws for what kind of
To
clippers?
fix the clippers, for hair clippers, for beard.
Oh, for bearding, yeah.
And so not only that, he did, and so the homeless gent's trying to, and he says, what are you doing? And he goes, well, I don't have a mirror, and I'm homeless. And he says, I'm going in for a job interview
So he's got
at this McDonald's, and I can't look like crazy bearded guy.
He's got to shave.
Well, so Officer Carlson says, oh, let me do that. And so he's sitting there in the parking lot of the McDonald's, and he's
standing up face to face with him.
Very carefully shaving this homeless gentleman, and he's straightening his collar. He helped him tie a tie, and there's a bystander catching this whole thing.
Right.
And so the bystander put it up on Facebook. Can you believe how great this guy is? I mean, how amazing.
Right.
And it was pretty funny, I guess. Obviously, this went viral because it's awesome. And what was really sweet, he goes, I didn't do anything spectacular. He says, this stuff happens all the time. It just so happened this time someone caught it on film. He says, officers all over the place in other cities are always doing stuff like that don't get attention. And he said, I would really like it if you thought of us as peace officers first and law enforcement officers second.
Right.
He says, we want this to be a positive entity. We don't want you to be afraid to come up to us and ask for help, even if it's something like shaving. And so what was...
Shaving.
So here was the part that was really sweet. There were a couple of problems with his application at McDonald's. He didn't have a Social Security card and an ID. Now this is a huge problem with a lot of homeless folks because when you're homeless, certain key items disappear.
Right.
And so he had gone out to dinner and he saw Phil sitting under a bridge and he, well, crap. And so he bought him dinner and came back out and said, how are you doing? I thought we'd job interview. And he goes, well, he says, the trouble is, he said, I don't have the information. He explained what he needed, but he was so cute. Someone had given him a newspaper with the picture of him and Officer Carlson doing the show. He's like, look, we're in the paper, and he was all excited.
Right. But he still doesn't have ID.
And so, well, here's the deal. Officer Carlson talked to his watch officer, and they put in a call to Senator Marco Rubio, and they said, oh, we can totally help you with that. So Officer Carlson picks up his gentleman, Phil, and they go down. They get the paperwork all signed by Senator Rubio's office.
So he gets a copy of a Social Security number. He gets an ID.
Because as you can assume, if a senator's office is calling for something, the folks at Social Security probably move a lot faster.
They actually answer the phone, I understand.
So he was super excited. He said everything's set up, and so the next day he dropped him back off at McDonald's, and he got hired.
See.
But I love the fact that he said that, like, this is happening in cities all over the place. He says it's just that people caught this one. But he said this is what we're really like. Peace officers first. So I thought that was beautiful. Now we go from beautiful to sort of awful, but really epic and cool.
I want you to think about this, folks.
Because you know you want to do this.
I want you to think about the rage that lives inside of you. Now this is like when your kids mess up, your kids scare. No. It's more than that.
Oh, by the way, today's deep-seated rage is brought to you by Brio Technologies. You're experts in lighting, sound, and video. You know how enraged you get trying to set up electronic equipment? They can do all of that for you. Just go to BrioAudiovisual.com. Okay, sorry, go on.
So, someone crashes into your car. Someone rear-ends your car. You have insurance, but it's going to make, your insurance is going to bump anyway.
Someone steals your trailer with all of your gardening tools and $200 worth of soil right out of your front driveway. That's not autobiographical.
If I ever see my trailer, I'm stealing it back, by the way. Oh, and by the way, underneath is the last 4 digits of my license number. So anyway.
Oh, the rage. The simmering rage. And you're the easygoing one. I'm usually the one that gets pissy and holds a grudge. Look at you.
So.
Go on, tell him.
Let's say it's your boss. Let's say it's your family. Maybe it's someone who where do you go? What do you do? Some people do yoga. That's not good enough. Some people...
That would do nothing for me.
Somebody pat goats. No, don't do that to goats. Other people, they walk because exercise is good. That's not enough.
Brings out all the endorphins.
New Jersey, they have something you need.
This is the most perfect place for this to have come from, too. Because everything in New Jersey has to make you angry. Think about it!
Just the fact. Do you know New Jersey is actually a really good state when you say you're from New Jersey, what exit? There is a beautiful part of New Jersey.
Aren't they actually the Garden State?
They have a beautiful state.
They have swamps.
And I support New Jersey and the millennials. And
Millennials.
Them too. All right, so.
Move on. This is good.
This is in Hackensack, which you just gotta love saying. and it's called the Rage Room. Now, what you get to do for a fee is, I think these people go down to like the DI, they go down to places like that, and they get items. They get items. Now, depending on how much you pay,
The VIP package gives you 60 implements to use.
they get you, they give you little glasses and mugs and stuff like that. You can bring your own
Couple
weapon.
mirrors.
They can bring your own weapon, or they will supply you with a baseball bat or a sledgehammer. Now, you could bring a mason, you could bring a Jedi sword. It doesn't matter. The more you spend,
They do frown on firearms, which I think is logical.
they won't do the firearms.
No.
Or aerosol cans, they have some limitations. They will set this room up, and they have Bluetooth, so you can crank any music you want.
Any kind of death metal that you're ready to go for, like Rammstein, you know, that's fine. Do it. Korn, they're on it.
Linda Ronstadt. You're no good, you're no good. So anyway, and they
Okay.
say 3, 2, 1. Go.
Just let it all out. Work it out, honey. Just let it all out.
Some of this, well, first of all, they put you in safety gear. They put you in a helmet with a face shield, and they put you in a
Goggles, yeah.
bodysuit, and they put all this stuff on.
It's all the flying glass and shards and
What music would you use?
metal shavings. Oh no, I'd go angry.
Angry music.
Yeah, I'd go angry music.
Angry.
Maybe.
They say you come out hoarse because a lot of the people who go in just spend the entire time screaming. And then they say, in fact, they feel like they've had this full workout because you're not used to
You
swinging
wake
a
up really
sledgehammer.
sore the next day, yeah.
You use sledgehammer and stuff like that. But anyway.
You know, we've got to come. We're going to do this because Todd is such a good guy at building stuff. We're going to have a work it out day where we're going to have you come in and we're just going to beat the crap out of stuff. I was going to suggest my sister's solution, but I know people would complain. But my sister's a couple of years ago on my birthday, and they knew I didn't want to celebrate it, and they're like, "Yeah, you do." And they went and bought like 800 cantaloupes from like a farm. It wasn't really 800, but it was a lot.
It was a lot.
And they laid them all out in the desert, and then they gave me a baseball bat, and they went, "Have at it." And I went. And we had watermelons, and we had baseball bats. We had, I mean, it was a carnage. I can't even begin to express, but it was so intensely satisfying.
The photos were amazing.
And we were all screaming our lungs out and whacking them with baseball bats, and it was so yeah, we've got to do this. We're going to have a work it out room, and we're going to put this together, and you get to come down and play, because we all need this.
The
Right?
Utah version is like marshmallows and Nerf.
Oh, no. We've been,
Aaron came home.
There's a lot of
I gotta
rage
tell you,
simmering.
Aaron came home from that night, and I said, just go and whatever. And she came back, and she gave me the nicest hug, and we cuddled like this. And all of a sudden, I found that wonderful chunk of watermelon behind her ear, and it was delicious. It was delicious. So anyway,
it looked like a crime scene, but we're all mothers, so we cleaned up our melon carnage and went home. But it was deeply satisfying. So
and the deer and the raccoons had a feast.
good angle, babe. Thank
That's
you.
right.
I don't look as horrible now. The rage room. I want one. We need to make this happen.
All right, so you guys
Who
have a great
wants
day.
the rage room? Oh, by the way, this is your cordial invitation. We would love to have you join us. We're going to be at Fat Jack's Burger Emporium this Thursday, and we've been kind of doing big round tables where we invite 10 friends, and they bring a buddy or a kid or whoever. We all catch up, and then we talk about things, what's going on, what stuff people are concerned about, what you want to see, what you want to do.
How much you dislike the show in segments alphabetically.
So if you'd like to join us, all you have to do is just, if you can like and share the show today, that's great. But please mention something about Fat Jack's Burger Emporium if you would like to join us this Thursday, 5:30. It's in downtown Salt Lake City, West Temple, 2nd South. And once I get all the notices, I will send private invitations out. But we'd love to have you come.
Are we both going to go this time?
Yes, that would be lovely.
That would be awesome.
That means I can't talk about you behind your back anymore.
What were you telling them?
Nothing.
What were they asking? No, what were they?
It was all love. So anyway, we'd love to have you join us this
really?
Thursday,
What-
5:30. So just mention Fat Jack's on the show today if you're on Facebook, and
What did they say?
we're ready to go.
What were they asking?
Don't ask anymore, honey.
Why not?
Don't ask.
Was it bad?
Don't ask me anymore.
Was it bad?
Don't ask. Have a good day.
See ya.
Mm-hmm.
What they asked me?
No, it's good.
Come on, you must say something.
Doesn't matter. It's not important.
It's not. Did they ask me